Hey, horror and sci-fi fans, Drew here from Horror, Sci-Fi, and Beyond, and we got another special guest with us. We got Jackson Harper.
Howdy, y'all.
Hey, how's it going, man? Thanks for being on here.
Oh, it's all right. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, so me and Jackson, we actually met on this there's these horror Christian podcasters that we're both a big fan of called The Fear of God. And they had a Halloween Zoom get together like a few months ago. We actually met on there.
Mm-hmm.
And we became friends on Facebook. And recently we're talking, I'm like, hey man, you should be on my YouTube channel. Like, let's pick a topic and we'll
Yep.
yeah, and today we're gonna do our top 5 Christopher Nolan movies, which is really appropriate because he did the Dark Knight trilogy. And at the time that you're watching this, we're one more week till Matt Reeves' The Batman. I'm super
Oh boy.
excited. Yeah, you don't know how
Same.
excited I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been reading a crap ton of comics like leading up to this.
Well, I've told you, like, I've never been a big comics reader, but if there's anything I do love, it's a Batman movie.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Batman fan.
Not to say I love all the Batman movies.
Right.
Like the early ones, I'm very on, but
Right.
I don't know. When Nolan took it over, I started to get interested in it. Like I loved like Batman Forever when I was a kid.
Yeah, me too. I used to watch that all the time.
Like, because that came out when I was, I guess, 12, and so I loved it as a kid. And
I was a
then,
huge Jim Carrey fan at that time.
sure, who wasn't? He was the biggest comedy star in the world at that point.
Yeah, I remember I went to go see The Grinch twice, and then maybe a year or two later, I saw Batman Forever, and I saw the Riddler, and I told my mom, "Hey, this guy reminds me of the Grinch a little bit." And he was like, "Drew, that is the Grinch. That's Jim Carrey." I'm like, "Oh my god, Jim Carrey's in the Batman movie."
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, him and Robin Williams were like my 2 favorite comedians. I wasn't allowed to watch a lot of Robin Williams stuff when I was a kid because he's super raunchy, especially stand up.
Yeah, for sure. No, Robin Williams, when I was a kid, he was a big deal to me. I mean, because like Mrs. Doubtfire and stuff.
I mean, they're like cartoon characters. They're like real life cartoon characters.
Mm-hmm.
I was a big Looney Tunes fan, Scooby-Doo, all that.
Well, spoilers, he might come up later.
Oh, really?
When we're having our topic.
Oh, yeah.
He might come up.
Yeah. I forgot about that one. I forgot he was in the Nolan movie. But anyways, so before we get started, let's talk about some recent horror, sci-fi, fantasy, superhero type movies that you've been watching.
Okay. Well, I'm a little bit behind because the past couple of years with the theaters situation being a little shaky,
right?
I've not been getting out to the theater and seeing the new stuff as much as I would like because I don't like watching stuff at home. I will, but I'd rather see it in the theater. And so if I miss it in the theater, sometimes I just end up missing it. But I just caught up recently on a couple. Well, because Fear of God has started back up again.
Right.
I've been getting caught up on some of the horror movies they've been covering. So I just watched Saint Maud.
Right.
And I also just watched Malignant.
Right. Oh, I love Malignant. That was so good.
Malignant was nuts. I was just like,
Well,
what I did is
about Malignant. It
go
was
ahead.
like a Dario Argento movie meets The Matrix meets Basket Case. And that Green Day Basket Case, the 80s movie Basket Case about the Siamese twins.
Well, what it made me think of, and I texted this to Reed actually as well. What it made me think of is Lee Wannell's Upgrade.
I haven't seen that yet. I need to watch that.
Oh, see, you need to watch that, because if you watch that and Malignant as like a double feature, it's like the two guys that created the Saw franchise both made the same movie, but with their own different spins on it.
Oh yeah, I forgot
Because
about
Upgrade is more the sci-fi version, and Malignant is more the horror version. They both turn into action movies by the end. Right. And then also Venom is also kind of that same movie. We've just spoiled Malignant for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Well, if you haven't seen it, I mean, that movie.
Well, up until just a few days ago, I hadn't seen it, but I probably also wouldn't have been watching
I was
a long YouTube video.
I was sitting there like halfway through when it kind of sued, kind of slowly reveal like what's going on and all that. I'm just sitting there, I'm like, what the hell am I watching here?
I know, it's nuts. It's absolutely nuts. I mean, I kind of loved it. Like, I won't say, the other thing I said about it when I was watching is like, this is the James Wan-iest thing that James Wan has ever James Wan.
Right.
It's just him doing everything that he really loves in a movie. Like, there's a whole procedural element to it, because that's always got to be in there. It's with like a James Wan movie.
He's like a mainstream director that just does whatever the hell he wants in a movie.
Well, yeah, but he's got his little trademarks. Like, there's always like detectives doing something. There's always scenes where there's a big industrial fan blowing and there's light coming through it.
I never noticed that.
What all his movies, there's always a scene with a big industrial fan and it's backlit, so there's like this like beam of light coming through the fan. There's always there.
There's always an old school vibe to his movies too.
Yeah, because because
Saw felt like kind of like 70s, 80s kind of gritty, like
oh, he loves that stuff. Yeah,
and then Conjuring supposedly based off a true story.
Well, that's one of my favorites of his as well, though, because I don't normally get into haunted house, ghost story kind of movies. Like, that's just not my genre. But The Conjuring, that was scary.
Yeah.
And I really love that movie.
I like any movie that has to like deal with like the afterlife. I think that's very fascinating.
Okay.
Because like at the older I get, the more I experience the world, I kind of question the afterlife a little bit. What's gonna be. Yeah. But so I guess I'll talk about some stuff I've been watching or consuming. We're in a crap ton of Batman comics.
Okay.
I did in our last video that I did, when we did when me and Eric did our top 13 horror villains and protagonists. I watched Let Me In, Matt Reeves' Let Me In, the vampire movie.
Okay.
For the boyfriends.
I like that one.
I really liked that. I was surprised. There's a lot more to it. Because I thought it was gonna be more like about this kid befriending this vampire, but like there's like a kind of like a crime serial killer aspect to it.
Yeah.
Like with the father.
Well, did you ever see the original like Swedish version or whatever? No, Let the Right One In.
Yeah, I specifically watched this one because it's Matt Reeves, and of course he's doing Batman, so I want to watch everything that he does.
Yeah, well, it's a pretty faithful remake for the most part of Let the Right One In, but it definitely Matt Reeves puts his own spin on it in several instances. So he's a director that's always been really interested in me, like ever since Cloverfield. Like Cloverfield came out and it's like, oh, somebody took found footage and applied it to like a giant epic monster movie.
Yeah, it's like one of those ideas is like, what did I think of that? Like,
but he pulled it off, and like Cloverfield is kind of brilliant.
Yeah,
so
I like Cloverfield. I really do. I really like. I think I like 10 Cloverfield Lane more. Like that's like more
Oh,
my kind of.
well, that's more the Hitchcockian thriller type.
Oh yeah, and
movie.
I'm a big Hitchcock fan. Even though I catch up on a lot of his
Yeah.
movies. I've only seen like maybe like 5 of his movies.
Yeah. And then they made the space one, which I think I started watching and fell asleep, and I didn't get very far into it.
Yeah, as soon as Elizabeth Debicki like blew up in that movie, I'm like, yeah, I'm not watching this anymore.
I didn't even get that far. So
Yeah, it was weird. But what else did I watch? I just been watching a ton, and again, in honor of the Batman, I've been watching a ton of period like crime movies, like the Untouchables. I mean, it's not really connected to.
Sure.
Yeah. I've been watching I watched the Untouchables, French Connection, which I really liked.
French Connection is so great.
Yeah, I love the car chase went on with the POV of his car. That's so cool.
Well, because they really did that. They didn't even get permits or whatever. They just went out into the streets. Yeah. Like they just got the stunt drivers and went out into the streets and drove around and swerved in and out of real traffic and filmed it.
I think I heard
like
that.
they didn't tell anybody they were going to do it. They just did it, which is horribly irresponsible, but also kind of amazing at the same time.
I think they got the stunt coordinator of Steve McQueen's Bullet to do this. Yeah, and then William Friedkin, the director, he loved what they did with Bullet, but he wanted to do something completely different. And I thought that was
he pulled it off.
Realistic. That's the thing I love about like 70s kind of like action crime movies. Like they just feel so gritty, and I need a lot more of those. I just love that gritty feel. Like two movies. Don't get me wrong. I love CGI. I think when it's done right, I think Thanos from the Avengers is like the greatest CGI.
Sure.
Because I thought it was Josh Brolin in like actual makeup and prosthetics.
But no, I get what you're saying. Like when it's something that they really did and it's really right there in front of the camera and they had to shoot it a certain way, there's a certain magic to it.
Like when on First Blood, or Rambo jumps off the cliff, like so I really did that.
Yeah,
he really jumped off a cliff. But what else did I watch?
Crazy.
I watched Zodiac, David Fincher's Zodiac, which is my top 30 movies. Again, I wanted to watch like a period crime movie, and all Batman, because I think he's gonna pull a lot of that kind of stuff.
Well, sure, because it's in the trailer, like he's like leaving clues for Batman, and and he's like also just stabbing people with a knife.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely got that Zodiac vibe to it.
Yeah, I don't know. They've been releasing a lot of clips, of course, because it's getting closer and closer to the release. They did one where it's like Catwoman, and she's like robbing somebody, and then like there's a lot of insert shots, and she's like very meticulously like trying to break into this safe. And I liked how they filmed it. It felt very 70s, kind of like Marathon Man. Or like the conversation, like very like the insert shots, and then Batman shows up and he says, "You're pretty good at that," and then they start fighting, which was like awesome. And they're doing quick cutaways, like it's wide shots. You got what's going on, unlike the Dark Knight trilogy. Yeah, that's the only thing I liked about those movies. Is like I didn't like the hand-to-hand combat scenes.
Well, I'm sure we'll talk about those here in a little bit. There's a lot to say about the Dark Knight trilogy for sure.
Yeah, but do you have anything else any other movies you've been watching that you want to talk about? Or?
Well, no, but let's talk about the other thing that you and I have talked about related to the Batman.
Okay.
Which is, so, every movie nerd loves to sit around and think about, what if they made this movie? Who would play who? So
I got one for Scream. Like I have a whole cast list of like if Scream came out in the 80s.
Oh my God. Yeah, okay. Give me your big 3 for that. And then we'll move on to mine.
I got Jamie Lee Curtis as Gale Weathers.
As Gale, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, I like what you did there.
Yeah, because you can kind of play like a kind
Yeah,
of bitsy kind of character.
yeah. She's already done the Sydney part. Now it's time for her to play
Right.
the other female lead. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, so keep in mind, this is like 80, this is the 80s, right? I'm gonna go
Mhm.
with Johnny Depp as Billy Loomis.
Well, of course. I mean, I
Yeah.
think that was intentional when they cast Skeet Ulrich.
Right. Now, this is probably like my most pie in the sky, weirdest one. I want to go
Okay,
Matthew Broderick as Randy.
sure.
Yeah,
I can see that.
he's a little nerdy,
Yeah, he's got that kind of energy to him.
well, even with like Ferris Bueller, like he's sort of like the voice of the audience. He's always commentating, on stuff.
Yeah,
In that movie. So
sure.
I can definitely see him as like the horror nerd. But the thing
All
about
right, who's your Dewey?
Tom Hanks.
I love it. I love that.
But here's the thing:
That's
Scream
great.
could have only worked in the '90s.
That's true, because you have to have all that wealth of knowledge of 80s horror,
Right, and of course,
for
like slashers,
the whole story to exist.
kind of dead
Yes.
at that point. Like it was
All
so.
right. So who's your Sidney Prescott?
Molly Ringwald.
Okay. Okay.
I can see
I'm
that vulnerable
I'm
character.
starting to picture this movie in my head, and it's, I would watch it.
Yeah, it's basically
Obviously,
like,
Wes Craven would still be directing.
maybe John. Hughes.
Maybe.
I mean, you gotta get
John Hughes' Scream.
No, it's like no, it's Wes Craven's directing it, but John Hughes is like the writer.
Writes the screenplay. Exactly. Yeah, that's the way you do it. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. So
one more thing. The
Okay.
principal, I'm gonna get Kurt Russell. Because why not? Why not?
sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then for the cameraman, I'm gonna get John Candy.
John Candy. Rest in peace.
Ever.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right.
Overshadowed your thing.
So what we were talking about before is I have right in front of me a cast list that I made for Wes Anderson's Batman.
And I think you said this is gonna be like a throwback to like the '60s.
Yeah, because well, you revealed to me that you've never actually seen a Wes Anderson movie.
Yeah.
Which I think you should watch at least one, so you know what. Yeah.
I think they kind of
Watch the Royal Tenenbaums. Watch that one.
Okay.
That's a good one to start with. The Royal Tenenbaums. That one will welcome you in, I think.
I know his style for sure. Like I've seen enough.
Well, yes. And so as long as you know his style, that's what makes this cast make sense.
Right.
So I'm just going to run down it here. So we have, as Batman, we have Adam Driver. Great big beast of a man, deep voice, commanding presence, but also he can be very awkward.
Can you
and
imagine,
deadpan?
like the Kylo Ren voice as Batman? He'd be like,
oh my
God.
All right. So standing next to him as Robin, we have Timothée Chalamet.
That's a good one.
Who's become kind of one of Wes Anderson's players in the last few years. Commissioner Gordon, the stalwart of Wes Anderson cinema, is of course Mr. Bill Murray. With the mustache and the glasses. I mean, come on, he's perfect. The Joker
going on.
Now, the Joker is someone who everybody has wanted to see play the Joker for years, but will never get a chance, probably. Otherwise, we have Mr. Willem Dafoe.
Oh yeah,
who again has appeared in multiple Wes Anderson films and is great in all of them.
Yeah,
most of these people are people
Green
that
Goblin smile, like with the Joker.
Yes. Makeup. So almost all of these people, by the way, have appeared in Wes Anderson films. A couple of them haven't. I'll say when they haven't. Anyway, Catwoman, you have Saoirse Ronan.
Okay. Okay.
Well, it's kind of fitting because in my head, in Wes Anderson's version, Saoirse or Catwoman actually has a romance with Robin instead of Batman.
Oh.
And so you match up Saoirse Ronan and Timothy Chalamet, and that's
right.
Yeah, there you go. So the Riddler would be Jason Schwartzman.
He'd be good.
Now, Penguin, I told you this offline. I didn't originally have anybody for this, and so I panicked a little bit and cast a little off type, which is Adrian Brody. So it's funny thinking about the Penguin as being a tall, skinny man instead of a short, rotund man. But I don't know, maybe he could do the role on his knees.
Right. Colin Farrell would work as Penguin in the Wes Anderson world as well.
He actually would, but we'll get to characters from other worlds reprising their roles in just a second. Poison Ivy is Scarlett Johansson.
Oh man, that's awesome.
That's a bit obvious, but you know what? She would nail it.
Yeah,
Mr. Freeze is Bruce Willis. Because who's chillier these days than Bruce Willis? No one.
Imagine like all the ice tons for Batman and Robin and Bruce
Willis. Oh my God. And with Bruce Willis saying them with no conviction whatsoever. just saying them deadly. Yeah.
I think you Batman.
All right. Harvey Dent / Two-Face would be Edward Norton.
Okay.
Because if you notice something about Edward Norton, like his roles are always about duality. Like you got Fight Club, you've got Primal Fear, you've got that movie where he plays twins, you've got the one where he's like the bank robber who pretends to be like mentally handicapped or whatever. Like he's always playing roles within roles.
Yeah, me and I saw that one. That's the score with De Niro.
The Score, that's the one. Yeah. Yeah, but he's always playing characters that are kind of divided. And funny. I saw
that clip from The Score when he played the mentally handicapped person when he first see him. And then he flipped. I'm like, holy crap. I thought he was actually mentally handicapped in that movie.
Yeah, but that's what he does. Like, well, I mean, Primal Fear is another good example. Like, it was his first movie, and he's already playing a character who's like pretending to be this other thing. And it's, okay, so moving down the list, Scarecrow is Owen Wilson, Wes Anderson's oldest collaborator. He's just got that strawy hair. I guess he doesn't really anymore. He's gone Silver Fox these days, but
hey, Silver Marry Me with J-Lo.
Oh God. Hugo Strange is Jeff Goldblum.
Ooh. I'm gonna figure out who the Batman is.
Yeah, who doesn't want to see Jeff Goldblum run a mental institution?
There was a rumor that Robin Williams was gonna play him at one point.
Well, Robin Williams was trying to get the Riddler in Batman Forever. He was really gunning for that role, but they went with Jim Carrey because he was the bigger star at the time.
But there was like after Aladdin, that didn't make sense.
Yeah, but you got to remember the whole thing with Robin Williams and Aladdin. That was a crazy thing where
they kind of screwed him over on that one.
They kind of screwed him over. Yeah. Anyway, okay, so Bane is still Tom Hardy, and he's doing the exact same voice, but in a Wes Anderson movie.
Wow.
The Batman is coming to get me. I don't know what's going on anymore. Anyway, and then finally, Alfred is Tilda Swinton. I mean, she's played an old man before. She could do it again.
All right, she was Bob Dylan, for God's sake.
No, that was Cate Blanchett.
Oh, okay.
Tilda Swinton played an old man in Suspiria.
Oh, okay.
The remake from a few years ago.
Yeah, I always get Tilda Swinton and Cate Blanchett kind of mixed up.
Well, they're both very sort of otherworldly in their own way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we gotta make this in a fan film, man. Let's do it.
Well, if you can get the numbers of all the people I just named, then let's go for it.
Well, I mean, we'll get like just people we know personally. So if you need like Owen Wilson for Scarecrow, I'm your guy. I can do a pretty good Owen Wilson.
You just gotta say, wow.
Oh, hey, Batman! I got this new beer for you.
Oh boy!
It's
All right, what do you think? You
like
think
you're
we should get
gonna
into?
jump off a cliff.
You think we should get into some Christopher Nolan here?
Oh yeah, yeah. It gets to the main point of the video.
Yeah.
So I'll let you tell the audience how you got into Christopher Nolan, how you found out about him.
Okay, so yeah, I mean, the same way a lot of people my age got into Christopher Nolan. I went off to college, and one of my friends one night was like, "Hey, have you heard of this movie Memento? Let's rent Memento." So we rented Memento, and I remember very specifically we watched it the same night that we watched 3 movies in a row that night. And Memento was, I think, the middle one, because we also watched Fight Club, and we watched Darren Aronofsky's Pi.
I haven't seen that. I heard that's really good.
It's interesting.
I mean, I love Darren Aronofsky.
You've seen Following, right? The Christopher Nolan movie?
That's the only Nolan movie I have not seen.
Okay. You should make that a double feature, Pi and Following, because they're actually very similar in a lot of ways.
Okay.
They're both black and white. They're both very short. They're both very dark. And they came out, within like a year of each other. Right. No, Following was like 96. Well, no, I guess Pi was probably like 98. So yeah, they came out within like a year of each other. So, yeah. Anyway. So yeah, and then starting with Insomnia in 2002, I have never missed a Christopher Nolan movie in the theater.
Okay.
I have always gone out with it. Even when Tenet came out and like most theaters were closed, I managed finally to find one that was open, and I went to go see Tenet because I'm just like, I'm committed at this point. If this man releases a movie, I'm gonna go see it.
Tenet's probably my least favorite Nolan movie.
It's really far down there for me too. It's not gonna come anywhere close to the top 5, but it's so him. Like, there's something about that movie that is so him. Yeah,
it was just too much. Well, plus I'm not a big time travel guy. Like, I'm like Back to the Future and like the first 2 Terminator.
Okay.
That's it for time travel.
See, I love time travel. That's like a personal sort of fetish of mine, is time travel.
I like the concept, the idea of it. It's just like all the logistics behind it. I'm more into like artificial intelligence, Terminator, or like aliens. Like, those are my 2 favorite sci-fi things.
Okay, well, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting if Christopher Nolan ever tackles one of those things. Yeah, eventually.
He'll probably do artificial intelligence, more.
I guess with Interstellar, he deals with that a little bit.
Yeah,
but he's never had like a full character that was AI.
Yeah, he'll probably do something like more like Blade Runner, like the original Blade Runner.
Sure, or Ex Machina is another.
Yeah, I need to watch that. I watched like a little bit of it, and I kept on.
It's if you're into AI, that's definitely a movie to watch. You got to watch that one.
Yeah. So real quick, how I found out about Nolan was I remember there was a Super Bowl spot for Batman Begins, and I'm like, oh, new Batman movie, that looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this one lady at my church. She used to babysit me all the time, and she had a son, and he used to like freak me out over stuff. And he Batman Begins, and I was really excited to see Batman Begins, but he scared me out of it because he said Scarecrow was like super scary, so I didn't go to the theater. So then somebody buys the movie for me on my birthday, and I immediately skipped to the Scarecrow part. I'm like, that's not scary. That was cool, but it wasn't like scary. And then from there, I was really excited for The Dark Knight. Or semi-excited because I wasn't the biggest thing in Batman Begins at the time because I didn't really get it, like what he was going for. I thought it was pretty neat, but I didn't get get it entirely. It
Yeah.
wasn't until Dark Knight where I really got it. I'm like, oh, he's doing something
Yeah.
kind of realistic. And then I remember when Inception came out, I thought that was really cool. And then 2 years later, I popped the Blu-ray. I was really blown away by the visuals. Still can't figure out what the hell's going on in the movie. I've seen it like 3 or 4 times, but to each his own. And then I saw Interstellar in the theaters. Sorry, Dark Knight Rises in the theaters, which I was really excited for. First only midnight screening I went to. And then of course, you had the unfortunate shooting in Colorado, and that
that was bad.
I remember me, my cousin, my grandma, my mom went to go see that movie, like midnight showing, and my cousin slept over, and I remember we woke up to the news of that. I'm like, oh my god, that could have been us.
Yeah,
that was really sad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw Interstellar in theaters. Saw Dunkirk on demand. I kind of liked it. I thought visually was really cool.
Yeah, Dunkirk is one of those that was kind of been built to see in theaters.
Yeah,
because it's almost a purely visual experience. There's not a lot of plot to it. It's just kind of puts you in the middle of the situation with these people, and just it unfolds almost without dialogue. I mean, there is dialogue, but it's not very important,
Yeah, and it's like the third movie where Tom Hardy has something on his freaking face.
He's got a face mask on, yeah. I must go and bomb the Nazis. Oh.
Yeah, and what was interesting was he kind of told it out of order throughout the movie.
Well, and that's something we'll get into. That's.
I think you froze it up.
All his movies deal with time in some sort of way, which we'll talk about as we talk about these movies.
Yeah, well, I also want to address something real quick. And I only noticed this when I was watching Memento yesterday. He takes concepts, simple concepts that we deal with every day, memories or dreams, or love with Interstellar and all these other Inception. But he explains it in an interesting way. We're like, oh, I never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So, for example, Inception, when Leo is talking about the dreams to Ellen Page, he was like, well, you always notice that you enter you only remember the middle of your dream, and there's always
you don't remember the beginning,
and there's always something that breaks your dream. I'm like, wow, yeah, that's right. I never noticed that. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I
mean, there's a reason that he's one of those guys. There's definitely a Christopher Nolan backlash at this point. And I can kind of understand it because his movies, they're very successful and they deal with kind of these weird concepts, but also they're very sort of straightforward in a lot of ways. And I think that he doesn't quite appeal to a lot of mainstream people, even though they go to see his movies because he's made just huge movies. But he also doesn't always appeal to the art house crowd because he's not quite artsy enough for them.
Right.
So he's kind of made this whole little middle ground for himself where he's making artsy blockbusters.
Well, he's kind of one of those names where it's kind of like a cliche to say that he
kind of, yeah.
And for a while, he was in my top 5, and then I started watching other movies, and I'm like, you know what? I think I kind of like Edgar Wright a little bit more.
Sure.
He kind of replaced.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But he's definitely one of those guys you can't ignore him. When you say a Christopher Nolan film, that means something.
Oh yeah.
he has his whole thing that he does, and I kind of just really enjoy that thing. So that's why I said let's talk about Christopher Nolan.
Oh, yeah. I love Christopher Nolan. I think when he's awesome, he's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For sure. So I guess we can get to the top 5. So I'll let you go first.
Let's do it.
Yes. What's your number 5?
My number 5 is Interstellar.
Ooh.
And so apparently this movie was originally supposed to be directed by Steven Spielberg.
Okay.
Like, I remember reading like movie news at the time is like, Steven Spielberg will direct a movie based on real, wormhole science by what's the guy's name? Kip something. I can't remember the physicist's name that the movie is kind of based on his theories.
Right.
Kip something. But anyway, and then you didn't hear about that for a while because Spielberg always has a project in the pipeline, and a lot of them fall through. And then Christopher Nolan took it over because Jonathan Nolan was already attached as a screenwriter. So it just made sense for Christopher Nolan to step in.
And what you get, cool, like a Nolan and like Spielberg teaming up.
Sure. I mean, like Nolan and Spielberg share a lot as filmmakers. They really do, more than some people give them credit for. But what you get from Interstellar is this. Yes, it's got like this cold, hard sci-fi edge to it, and it's got the typical sort of Nolan seriousness to it, but it's the most emotional story like he's ever told.
Yeah, for sure.
Like the core of it with Matthew McConaughey, who's I can't remember the character's name in this movie. Like I remember his daughter's name is Murph.
Yeah, Matt Damon is name
Matt Damon.
Matt Damon. His name is something like that. Can you also represent?
Yeah, and like, well, the names in Christopher Nolan movies are usually dumb, so it doesn't matter. But like the journey that Matthew McConaughey goes on, and the things that he comes to realize about like himself and his family, and just. Again, it's about the passage of time. It's about leaving the people you love and time passing, and you come back and they're not the same people anymore.
Right.
Like it's very primal in that sense, even though there's all this crazy like wormhole stuff going on at the same time. And I think that's what I love about it, is that it's got all the cool sci-fi stuff and there's some amazing action scenes and everything, but like at its core, it's just this very tender, emotional story about a guy and his daughter and their mutual love of science.
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love characters that in movies that like they're just so passionate about something. Like Bastin in La La Land, or that little girl in new Ghostbuster movies. Like they're just so passionate about something.
Yeah. Oh, she was hands down the best part of that movie.
Oh yeah. Actually, when I went to go see the new Ghostbusters, they actually had like stuffed animals of like the different characters, like Muncher and like Slimer. So I bought a steak and I actually had them like sit right next to me, like in the theater. So I took a picture and I'm like, I brought a date to me to go see Ghostbusters.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So my number 5, and then I love your Interstellar. Mine's a little bit higher on for that one. So there's something I definitely want to say that you didn't mention.
Oh well, if we get to one where I name something or you name something and it's later on either of our lists, let's just wait and talk about it when we get to it on our list. You know, see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fine.
So I'm sorry. Yeah. So I mean, obviously we'll we can talk about Interstellar more later, but like if you say something now and it's on my list later, we can just wait and we can both talk about it.
Oh yeah,
later on the list.
Go a lot faster.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 5, and I know it's gonna be a little controversial because people like freaking love this movie. And that's Inception.
Okay, well, that's not on my list.
Okay.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah, just real quick. I kind of already talked about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Visually, it's amazing. Freaking love the hallway
Mm-hmm.
scene. That's probably like one of my
Yes.
favorite moments.
Uh-huh.
Like of like cinematic moment in like
Yeah.
2010, the 2010s. That and
Mm-hmm.
probably the Joker talk show scene. Like those are probably my two favorite moments.
Okay.
Yeah, that. Um, yeah, it was just hard to follow. It looked amazing. I like the concept of it. Uh, it was hard to follow.
Really? You think it's hard to follow?
To me, it is because it like
Okay.
yeah, there's like this one businessman played by Kim Watanabe, and they're trying to like talk to him and get inside of his head, and then you have like Cillian Murphy and his whole
Mm-hmm.
deal, and then they're trying to get into his head, and then like they're like rivals. It was just kind of confusing. But I probably have to like watch it.
Okay. I feel like, okay, so the thing about Inception is I get how it can be confusing, but at the same time, I feel like the characters are explaining everything
Right.
as it goes along all the time. So I don't know. That's part of a ding of why the movie is not in my top 5.
Mm.
Because the dialogue is very sort of exposition heavy. Like it's
Right.
always just like, here are the rules. Let us follow the rules. And there's nothing wrong with having rules, but the fact that they have to explain the rules constantly for 2.5 hours, that's kind of a ding. However, when the movie came out, it blew my mind.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's amazing to watch. Like I could sit down and watch it right now and have a blast.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's maybe the reason why I don't. That's a thing for me. Is like, cause like cinema is supposed to be like visual. If you kind of constantly
Mm-hmm.
have to explain stuff to me, like
Yeah.
with my number one's kind of like that, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
I do have an Inception theory.
Okay.
So there's that whole debate, when he spins the top and then he goes to the kid,
Yeah.
you never see it fall down. So you don't know if it's a
Mm-hmm.
dream or not. Here's my theory. It's a dream.
Okay. Okay.
But it's not his wife's dream. It's not Michael Caine's dream. No, it's not his dream, or it's not Michael Caine's dream. It's actually his wife's dream. And
Okay.
here's why I say that. It's because her whole thing was she wanted like a family for themselves. They wanted,
Okay.
she wanted him to settle down and have a family. So I think that's what her dream is.
So you're saying he probably doesn't even have kids
Nope.
in real life. He's just stuck inside his wife's dream forever.
Right. In certain parts.
That's really dark, dude.
Well, no, if you remember at the beginning when he's calling his kids, after that he spins the top and he has the gun and he's gonna like kill himself to break out the dream.
Okay, yeah.
And again, I don't. If I remember correctly, you never see that top fall down in that scene either, because it's interrupted by a doorknob.
Oh, I'd have to watch it again. It's been a while since I've seen it.
Yeah, I think the whole thing I think his part of it, like with his kids, is a dream.
I'm doing this. I've got the Steelbook Blu-ray right here though. I've actually got my iPad sitting on top of my DVD shelf. So there you go. So anytime we mention a Christopher Nolan movie, I can almost always pull it out. I don't have all of them on Blu-ray.
Did that version, did it have the special features when it's like the documentary about like the different people's dreams?
I don't actually know. I bought it used, and I haven't really explored the special features on it.
Okay, could I see that documentary more times than actually seen the movie? Because it's really good. Joseph Gordon-Levitt actually directs it. It's called like Cinema of the Mind or something like that. It's really good.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we're on to my number 4 now?
Yes.
So my number 4 is Memento.
Oh, that's my number 4.
Oh, cool. Synchronicity. So, like I said, this was my introduction to Christopher Nolan movies. I saw it in the middle of the night, my freshman year of college, and it's just one of those movies like crime thrillers. That's not really my genre, but when you do something like this with it, which is you take the idea of a structure and you make it indivisible from the plot.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Like the plot and the structure are kind of okay. The plot and the structure are kind of the same thing.
Oh, okay.
You can't have a movie with that plot and show it in chronological order. You have to do this sort of fragmented timeline.
Right. I get you.
Because you have to put yourself in the protagonist's head.
Right.
So you're always kind of like trying to remember what's happened, but you can't always remember because you haven't always seen what's already happened. Because you're going forwards, but you're also going backwards.
Right.
And like that is just what makes it so brilliant. And of course, you've got a great cast. You've got Guy Pearce, who has never been well used by Hollywood since this movie.
Yeah.
He plays a great hero, but they keep casting him as villains. And honestly, he should have played Batman at some point. He would have been a great Batman.
I think Hugh Jackman would have been a good Batman too.
He would have, but he was already Wolverine.
Yeah, I recently saw Hugh Jackman in Prisoners. The Denny Bill.
Yeah.
And like there's several parts when he like grits his teeth, and that's like straight up from the comics, like the way he does that. Yeah, he would.
I love that movie, but I can't watch it very often because it's very depressing.
Yeah, and going back to the Batman connection, Paul Dano's in it.
Yes.
Yeah, and he sings Jingle Bell Batman Smells, which is just like more Saturday week.
Does he actually sing that in the movie?
Yeah, because remember at the beginning, before
it's been a while since I've watched it.
Yeah, because like at the beginning when before their kids went outside and then they got kidnapped, they start singing Jingle Bell Batman Smells. Later in the movie, Hugh Jackman follows Paul Dano to his house and he's walking his dog and he sings the same song, and that's what makes him the connection.
Oh my God! Okay.
Yeah. I would have never known that Paul Dano was going to be in a Batman movie. He was going to be the Riddler.
I mean, he's kind of a perfect choice for the Riddler, but
I like how they're going more like serial killer than like narcissistic, because he was always like a narcissist in the comics and like the animated.
Well, and that's where the sort of Zodiac thing comes in, because he was a killer who was like actively sending clues to the police in these sort of elaborate codes and everything. So yeah, that's a good choice, I think, to get Paul Dano to play a character like that. So what do you think? What's your deal with Memento?
Really cool movie. Really, I like the whole going back to simple concepts. Kind of explain in a way. I'm like, when you're like, oh, I didn't never thought about that way. I love when Guy Pearce says, memory, makes you change size of rooms and like color or cards. I'm like, yeah, because that makes sense. Because even this even a connection to Nolan. When I said that I wanted to go see Batman Begins, and that kid at my church, was saying it was it was super scary. I was thinking about him recently, and then I looked him up on Facebook. Looked completely different than I thought than I remembered.
Yeah,
and that's what's great. That's what's crazy about memories. Like you think one thing and then it's completely different a lot of the time.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lines in the whole movie is when he's talking about the stuff like in the dresser drawer, and he talks about the Bible and he says, "I read it religiously." Because it's the Bible and religion. I thought that was so funny. Not funny. I thought it was kind of a funny, like a little.
Yeah, it's a clever little way to put things. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of, I guess, like where that term came from. Oh, I watch Stranger Things religiously.
Yeah, well, it's just a matter of doing things like
fanatically,
as well, not fanatically, but like just as a sort of way you live your life.
Right.
That's what people mean by religiously. It's like, well, this TV show is on. I'm going to watch it. You know, it comes out on Hulu today. I'm going to watch it as soon as it comes out. That's part of my tradition.
Right.
So, yeah, I think that's what people mean.
Speaking of Stranger Things, we finally got a date for season 4.
Well, I'm not a Stranger Things guy.
What?
No.
I'm out of here. Oh my god, I freaking that's like the best show. Like that's like my favorite show right now.
It's just not. I don't know. There's something about it doesn't speak to me. I don't know what it is.
Really?
I've tried. I've seen a few episodes, but
well, it's like
it's
my
just
3
not my
favorite
thing.
things. It's horror, it's sci-fi, and the 80s, and it's awesome. But speaking of why I've seen that so religiously, I have the first 2 seasons, like the Target exclusive, like box sets for like the VSA cover. I'm not even kidding. If they ever put out a version with the whole series on Blu-ray in that VSS quality, the VCR quality, I'm gonna double dip on that and get that.
Oh my god!
They need to put that out. That'd be awesome. It's like
okay,
mind and like the static. That'll be awesome.
Whatever makes you happy, dude.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I have several versions of like the original Wolfman on Blu-ray and DVD.
I do love that movie. I used to watch that when I was a kid.
Yeah, that's my favorite Universal.
Like the original Wolfman. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway,
I think. Okay, are we on to number 3 now?
Yes.
So number 3 for me is The Dark Knight. Of course, I have the whole box.
I have it on there.
You have it on there?
Yep.
Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure I knew that. So we're gonna move then to your number 3.
Okay. My number 3 is gonna be Interstellar.
Okay. We already talked about it, but go ahead. Like whatever you want to say.
Besides Dark Knight and Dark Knight Rises, this was the only Nolan movie I seen in theaters, and I was blown away by the visuals.
Yeah.
I didn't really get into the story as much my first viewing. The second time I really got into the story and like the world.
Yeah.
And then the third time I liked it even more. And I'm like,
the
movie's kind of funny in some parts, especially with like the robot.
It definitely has more humor than normal for a Christopher Nolan movie. Yeah. Of course, the robot is voiced by, do you know who Bill Irwin is?
Yeah, Mr. Noodle from Sesame Street.
Was he on Sesame Street? Okay, because
he was
a
in
clown.
the World segment of it.
Oh, okay. See, I when I watched Sesame Street as a kid, that segment didn't exist.
Oh yeah.
Elmo was not a big deal. I'm older, yeah. But Bill Irwin is an actual clown, like a professional clown. Like, yeah, he has spent decades like putting on the makeup and doing the gags and all of that. Like, yeah. He's in, have you ever seen the movie Rachel Getting Married with Anne Hathaway?
I did not like it. It was too slow.
Oh, well, but he plays the dad in that.
Yeah, he was good.
And he's amazing in that movie. I love that movie. I don't care if it's a little slow. I love it. But yeah.
Yeah, it's the same guy that did Silence of the Lambs, I believe.
Yeah, Jonathan Demme. He directed both of those. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing I want to talk about Interstellar real quick. The year this movie came out, I had like the biggest crush on Anne Hathaway for whatever.
Who doesn't? I mean, she's delightful.
Yeah, I love Anne Hathaway. And I saw a interview she did for Collider where she talked about her character. And she basically said that, there's some people that are very spiritually minded, and there's some people that are very scientifically minded. The great thing about my character is she sees the Venn diagram. She sees things like both ways, like both of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's how I am. Like, I'm not a super religious person, but I believe in spirit. There's something bigger out there. But I also can't deny science either, because that's how the world works.
Yeah, exactly. No, I feel you there.
And then I love her whole dynamic with Matthew McConaughey, where he's a guy that only believes in like science and math and everything, has an equation and an answer to it. But
Mm-hmm.
Anne Hathaway character doesn't really think that way. And then he
Mm-hmm.
talks about like love, and there's like no equation to it. Like, I mean, there's a little bit of a scientific basis to it, but like when you love somebody or something, like
Yeah.
you just it just is. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of hard to explain it a lot of the time.
Well, and it pays off with that scene, towards the end of the movie where McConaughey's watching the video of his daughter grow up and just starts crying.
Yeah, I tell you,
Like,
when that movie got nominated for best original score at the Oscars, and they started showing
uh-huh,
clips with like the music, and it was a clip of Matthew McConaughey crying, like it got me
uh-huh.
choked up because it flashed me back to seeing that
Oh,
moment in the
when
movie.
McConaughey cries, I cry.
Oh yeah,
like, doesn't matter what movie it is. If he's crying, so am I, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah, yeah. And I honestly, like, I know people make fun of Anne Hathaway, especially at that time,
I know,
but
but that's stupid. She's
yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, her two best movies, in my opinion, is Les Mis and Interstellar. Like, she
I
knocked out.
love Les Mis.
Oh
Like,
yeah, I
oh
do have a
God,
giant poster of her in my room. I have it somewhere. It's like
oh,
there.
she's fantastic in that.
Yeah,
She deserved every bit of that Oscar that she won for that
yeah. I'm
movie.
not even kidding. Like, she did things to prepare for that role that are so dangerous that she never publicly like said what she did because she didn't want
Hmm.
anybody else to emulate it.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that one that's hardcore right there. And then Hugh Jackman's another guy that
Well, Hugh Jackman is probably my favorite living actor. Like,
really
yeah, I'm not kidding. I love him.
or really.
There is something about Hugh Jackman that just speaks to me on some primal level. I don't know what it is.
Can't remember if I ever confessed this on my channel before. I'm straight. I like women, but
Same. Yeah.
Hugh Jackman is my biggest man crush.
Oh, he's fantastic because he's like this hardcore action star, but also he sings and dances. It's
Right.
like we've
Well, the
we've
thing, like,
finally made the perfect man, and it is Hugh Jackman.
yeah, it's like he's
Turns
the
out,
nicest guy in interviews, but like
yeah, he
he plays some
seems like the
despicable characters in some
sweetheart.
movies,
Yeah, like
like Prisoners.
he used to be a gym teacher.
Oh, really?
Like, what's up with yeah? Before he got into acting, he was a gym teacher. It's crazy.
Did you ever see that thing that he did on Jay Leno, where he actually reenacted a whole part from The Music Man? Like he did every single part.
No, but I'm gonna go look it up when we're done here.
Yeah, yeah. He was talking about like that was like the first like musical he ever did, like back in when he was in high school in Sydney, and he only auditioned for
Yeah.
it just so he can meet girls, and he actually fell in love with like acting, like musicals.
Well, I mean, I studied theater in college.
Oh,
That
really?
was my major. Yeah. So no, I feel it.
I
Because
never went to college, but I
it
did
was like me in the department. It was me, bunch of girls, maybe like two other dudes. So yeah.
Yeah, I had this sometimes. But what is your number two?
Are we already to number two?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, because my number three is later for you. So my number two is The Prestige.
that's my number two too.
Ah, yay! Okay.
Well, I mean, he has a limited filmography, so
Yeah, he's not like Spielberg. He doesn't have decades and decades of work to
right.
pull from. But yeah, The Prestige, like, it's kind of one that I feel like people don't talk about much
Mm,
anymore because it came out right after Batman Begins, and then the next few movies he did after that were so huge, and
mm.
The Prestige kind of gets forgotten. But it's one of his best movies. It might actually be his best movie.
Yeah, I
It's not
love
my
it.
personal favorite, but it might be his best movie. And I also read the book that is based on,
Oh, it's based on.
written by, yeah, it's based on a novel by Christopher Priest.
Mm,
And the novel's very different. So I won't go into anything about the novel because that
mm,
would take too long. But like the movie takes the essence of the novel and kind of distills it and makes it work as a movie.
Okay.
But again, you have that thing where it's jumping around in time all the time. And the book does that too, because the book is all like journal entries and stuff like that.
Right.
From the main two characters, or I guess, spoilers, 3 characters.
Yeah. Now this twist that got me, because I thought the whole thing, I thought it was gonna be something completely different. Like, I did not expect like a twin. I thought like Hugh Jackman figured out a way to time travel.
Yeah, that's what you're supposed to think. You're supposed to think it's going to be this crazy, outlandish explanation, and it's the most simple thing. And yet, it's not simple at all, because you've got 2 people living as one person. That's who would do that?
Right.
It's this crazy movie about obsession, and it's about art. It's about like how far will you go to make your art?
Right.
And both of
it's
Gordon
like
and sure. Yeah, it's a little bit like that. I could see that. Yeah. But it's like both of these magicians, or all 3 of them, they go to different lengths to be the best at what they do. But they're completely different, because Hugh Jackman goes off and like gets Tesla to build this crazy machine that like yeah, played by David Bowie of all people. And he's great. He's great in the movie.
Oh, don't forget about Andy Serkis. He's in this too.
Oh yeah,
another Batman connection.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
he's Alfred.
He's the new Alfred. I keep forgetting he's the new Alfred. That's so great. I love it.
And I'm not gonna feel about that. I come so more as like the Mad Hatter or Penguin.
Yeah, but we've seen him play these like outlandish roles. I think it'll be nice to see him play like a real person. Yeah. Anyway, so, but where was I going with that? But it's like Hugh Jackman is willing to essentially make these weird copies of himself every night and kill them and drown them in a tank.
I don't remember all
just
that.
So he can get. Oh yeah, that's a whole thing. Like every time the machine goes off, it creates a copy of himself, and he gets transported to the other side of the room. Or maybe it's not him. Maybe he's the one left behind, and the copy is the one being transported. It doesn't matter. Whoever's left behind gets killed.
Because I remember the whole twin thing.
Yeah, but what Hugh Jackman does to accomplish this, essentially the same trick, is even more insane somehow. I just love it so much. It's so well shot. It's got that. I love that sort of Victorian England period feel. Like, I'm one of those people that watches A Christmas Carol every year.
Right.
Yeah,
I love the.
So I love all
like
of
my
that.
favorite story of all time.
It's amazing. Yeah, and so. Yeah, The Prestige, it gives me all of that. It's, it's sci-fi, it's a thriller, it's this crazy movie about magic, which I love magic. You put a magician up on stage and I'm just like, what's going to happen next? Oh, let's see.
And plus, you have my girl ScarJo in there too.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who I think is like the most beautiful woman who ever lived, in my opinion.
She's very lovely.
Well, here's what I like about ScarJo. And earlier in her career, a lot of her movies, he kind of exploited her sexuality a lot. Like, not necessarily in a bad way or a good way. Just, it just is what it is. As he got in order, I seen her in movies where, like, wow, like, she's like Oscar caliber good. Like Mary Stuart, Jojo Rabbit.
Yeah. And I think she was always that way. It's just there was like a middle period where people didn't realize how talented she was, because if you look at her really early stuff like Ghost World, like she's still a teenager.
Oh yeah.
Or even Lost in Translation, like she was still like only like 18 or something when that movie came out.
Right. But I did think at a certain point, people want to saw her like a sex symbol, kind of.
Yeah, and she had to sort of push through that, but she did it very well. I mean,
I thought she should have won the Oscar.
Made some incredible movies.
Honestly,
she was the best part of that movie.
Her and Tiger Waititi's Hitler was pretty funny.
Well, yeah.
I mean, hanging out like Tiger Waititi, that guy's amazing.
He is. Yeah. He's got that new pirate show coming out that I'm gonna have to give a shot.
I think Tiger Waititi's like the modern day Robin Williams in a way, because he just does whatever he thinks is funny in his own head. Doesn't care what anybody thinks, and it's just like some of the funniest stuff ever. Like his character in Free Guy was hilarious. Like I was like laugh my ass off when I saw him in that movie.
See, I haven't seen that one yet.
Max now.
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, it's real. Yeah, he's really funny. And also like a lot of the stuff he says is like it's so natural.
Okay,
I like about it.
All right, so I guess we're on to number one now.
Oh, one more thing I want to say about The Prestige. Oh, I didn't think about this until I saw Chris Stuckman's review of this movie, and he said that this was really the movie, unlike Christian Bale, it was the movie that Hugh Jackman had to prove himself in.
Yes, that's absolutely true. Yeah, he had done a couple other things, like he was in like Kate and Leopold, but that wasn't a big hit, and a couple other things, but like that was the first big movie post Wolverine. It's like, okay, is this guy actually a really good actor? Yes, he is.
Yeah, because Christian Bale had like American Psycho and The Machinist. But I still never seen.
Well, I mean, Christian Bale had been around since he was a kid. I mean, he was in like Empire of the Sun.
Yeah,
and then he was in Newsies.
I forgot about that.
Which that's the first thing I ever saw Christian Bale in was Newsies.
Yeah, I saw him in Batman Begins, and I saw him in Empire of the Sun because we watched it in school. I'm like, wait, is that Batman? I'm like, holy crap, that's Christian Bale. I think Ben Stiller was in that movie too.
Which one?
Empire of the Sun.
Was he in that?
Yeah,
maybe.
I think he was like one of the guys that he hung out with.
Yeah, might be. I haven't seen that movie in probably 20 years, so I don't remember much about it. Movie. Yeah.
So, what's your number one?
All right, my number one is Insomnia.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, it's one of the 3 movies by Christopher Nolan. You've got Insomnia, Inception, and Interstellar.
Right.
So Insomnia, well, for one, it was his first like studio movie. He's coming off of Memento, which was a big indie kind of festival hit. It was big on home video and everything. So it's like, okay, what can this guy who made this weird little art house thriller do with big movie stars and kind of a budget? Like not a huge budget, but he has a budget. And he's got Al Pacino and Robin Williams there to sell everything. And they're both doing incredible work.
Right.
Like, although I was watching it again today, and for the first time I noticed, like, Al Pacino, is he doing like a Southern accent in that movie? Like, it's very strange.
Once in like my memory vague of the movie.
Yeah. I only noticed it today, and I've seen it several times, but only today. I was like, I think Al Pacino's doing kind of a weird Southern accent, but that's neither here nor there. Robin Williams is, of course, this is the part in Robin Williams' career where he's coming off of his like big 90s hits, like Mrs. Doubtfire and stuff. And he starts doing these darker movies. So you have like within a year of each other, you have this and 1 Hour Photo.
Oh, I love 1 Hour Photo.
And Death to Smoochie all come out. Like they all come out 90s. Like within a year of each other. What?
I thought Death to Smoochie was the 90s.
No, that was early 2000s because I remember I was in college when all 3 of those movies came out, and I went to go see all 3 of them in the theater. But there's something about Insomnia. Of course, it's a remake of I can't remember if it's Norwegian or Swedish. It's a Scandinavian film, And I've seen that. It's got Stellan Skarsgård in the Pacino part, and it's okay. But I think this is better.
Because he was in Get What Hunting with Williams.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon.
I used to love that game. I used to play it all the time with people. But yeah, so Insomnia, it's a movie that, like, there's not been another Christopher Nolan movie that's been quite like it. Like, because after that he moved on and started doing Batman movies and other like sci-fi stuff and all of that. And so he's never made like a straight up kind of psychological thriller again.
Like a grounded one, at least.
Yeah. But he does it so well. Like for one thing, he kind of gets out of the actor's way and just lets them do, like, he doesn't try to make it too fancy or anything. It does have some of that Nolan flavor to it, in that it's another movie that's very interested in time.
Okay.
Like Interstellar or The Prestige or any Memento, any number of other.
Really?
There's always a time element. Even Dunkirk has a time element to it. But Insomnia is about time in that the character never knows what time it is because it's always daylight outside. Because they're in that part of Alaska where it doesn't get dark during certain months.
Oh, trust me, I knew. I used to live in Iceland for like a couple of years.
Oh, really? Okay, so you've experienced that. Okay, yeah. So I don't know. Did that movie capture that feeling very well? Do you think?
I don't really remember. I was like really young. I was like maybe like 7,
okay.
8.
I got you, man. Okay.
Yeah, but I do remember it was weird, like falling asleep in the middle of the day because I wanted to get on inside and play.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a little weird.
Yeah,
but there's just movie. I just don't remember it. I need to watch it again.
Oh, there's just parts of the movie that have always stuck with me. Like there's this one part where, like, there's several scenes where, excuse me. There's several scenes where Pacino and Robin Williams kind of go head to head and just have like an extended dialogue scene. And there's one of those scenes. Of course, Al Pacino's character is this cop who may or may not have done some crooked stuff. And he ends up killing his partner while he's chasing Robin Williams' character.
I think I remember. I do remember that now.
Yeah, and it's never clear how accidental it was. You're made to believe that it is accidental, but maybe it's not, because that partner was like one of the guys who had ratted him out back in LA, where they're from. And so like there's this very big moral quandary, and there's a part where Robin Williams just looks at Al Pacino and is like, "You're a good man. I know that, even if you've forgotten it."
Right.
But he's saying that in a way to try to get on like Pacino's good side, so Pacino will let him off the hook for committing this murder. Like there's so much like sort of complexity in the characters, and like Nolan, he's made some amazing movies since then, but he's never really gotten that kind of character study since then. He's come close a couple times. Yeah, I guess The Prestige. Yeah, but
that still has a sci-fi element to it.
Like, yeah, but this is like just a straight up crime movie. But it just cuts so deep with what the characters go through and what they're struggling with, and I just love that about it.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Is every time I think about Christopher Nolan movies, that is the one I always forget about for whatever reason. But maybe because it's so grounded, it doesn't feel Nolan-y really at all. Yeah, that's cool, man. I need to go back and watch that. Like maybe I'll watch it tonight or tomorrow.
It's a really terrific movie, and I think it doesn't get enough love, and it's just my personal favorite. The Prestige might give it a run for its money. Like some days The Prestige might be my favorite, but today I decided Insomnia is my favorite.
Right. Well, that's the thing that people forget is like Robin Williams, he's like one of the best dramatic actors ever.
Oh, he was amazing. Yeah.
I remember the day I found out that he took his own life. I was over at my dad's because my mom and dad are divorced. We were hanging out with my grandfather. We're watching Darren Aronofsky's Noah, and my dad was on his
Okay.
phone, and he in the middle of the movie he was like, Robin Williams just killed himself. I'm like, what?
Oh God.
Like that's like one of my idols right there, or like one of my
Yeah.
heroes. Because I like to do a lot of like celebrity voices because of him and like Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just immediately just remember all my memories from like Aladdin and like some of the stand-up stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like such a big part of a lot of people's childhood ever since the like 70s and 80s, really.
Mm.
Like, yeah, like a lot of people grew up with Robin Williams, and yeah, it's very sad.
Yeah, there's this it's celebrity impressionist named Jamie Costa, and he recently
I've seen, yeah, I know what
when
you're
he did
talking
like the
about.
concept of like Robin Williams, the Robin Williams
It's
biopics.
uncanny.
Yeah, yeah, like
Yeah.
we need to start a petition like get Jamie Costa to play Robin Williams. Not in a biopic, but like the dude is like a mini series about Robin. That'd
Oh
be cool
boy.
because like you can the first episode can be like his childhood, and then you can do like his early stand up, and then the Mork and Mindy show, and then like
Hmm.
struggling to find like his niche in like cinema and like the
Yeah.
80s, and then you can do like the whole Aladdin thing. That'd be cool. Do it, Hulu. Do it.
I mean, they made one about Pamela Anderson and Tommy Lee,
Oh,
so
God.
why
I
not Robin
think that's
Williams
so
at this
stupid.
point? I've actually watched most of it. I haven't watched the latest episode, but it is stupid, but it's also kind of good because the cast is really good, you know?
I need to check it out because I'm a
So,
pretty big Motley Crue fan.
okay. Well, it really makes Tommy Lee look like a prick.
Really. Well, yeah, I mean he's
Yeah.
not my favorite member of Motley. That would be Nikki Sixx.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, on to my number one.
Yeah.
You guys know anything about me, about my, all the stuff I like, you already
Uh-huh.
know what this is, and I'll give you a hint. It's The Dark Knight.
Of
How
course
could
it's
it
The
not
Dark
be?
Knight.
Really, it's The Dark Knight for realsy, but if I have to pick one movie, it has to be The Dark Knight.
Yeah, it's the best one of those three, for sure.
Yeah, because like I said, I thought Batman Begins was pretty good. I didn't really
Hmm.
get what Nolan was going for, and then when I
Hmm.
saw The Dark Knight, I'm like, holy crap! And I was just so transfixed by
Hmm.
like the Joker, especially
Oh
when he
yeah.
had like Spawn, and he had like the knife in Spawn's mouth, and I'm like,
Oh
oh my
yeah.
god, am I gonna see him cut his mouth open? Never mind, just forgetting the fact that it was a PG-13. Like I totally because he was just because Heath Ledger was just so captivating, and then this is like, and then he's telling like the story about like his father, which could be
Yeah.
true, which could be
You want to
not.
know
Which,
how I got these scars?
yeah, that whole thing when he like tell people like his story, like that's like a throwback
Uh-huh.
killing joke because you don't really know if any of that's true or not.
Sure.
Yeah, and I mean, love the action. I think that's really good,
Hmm.
especially like the car chase scene.
Oh yeah. I mean, he flipped that semi over and like really did that.
Yeah. And then you had the hospital scene, which was the actual
Oh
hospital
yeah.
they blew
It's
up.
incredible.
And
Absolutely incredible.
yeah, and that part when he hits the button and it blows up a little bit and then it stops. That was all improv.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
because
fact that
the
he put his
the
shoulder back.
device didn't work. And so he just stayed in character until it finally blew up. So that's part of the brilliance of Heath Ledger. May he rest
Right.
in
Well, and
peace.
that's the,
Again.
and that's the thing that I love about this movie, or where I was, when I watched this movie for the first time is I didn't know who Heath
Hmm.
Ledger was. I'd never seen
Oh,
him.
okay.
I'd never seen 10 Things I Hate About You. I'd never seen Brokeback Mountain. I'd never seen any of his movies up to that point.
Gotcha.
So I didn't know who he was. So I wasn't looking at an actor. I was watching the actual Joker doing these things for real.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I wasn't into like movie news and like who actors were and all that
Hmm.
stuff. So I think that definitely helped.
Well, see, like I did know who he was. I had seen A Knight's Tale and 10 Things I Hate About You, and I had seen Brokeback Mountain, and I had seen, I don't know, Monsters Ball and stuff like
Who's
that.
in that?
And I briefly. So I had seen a lot of movies with Heath Ledger, and I remember when he got cast, there was this huge backlash online. It's like, what? Heath Ledger's gonna be the Joker? Are you crazy, Nolan? And I, having actually seen his movies, thought to myself, you know what? He's probably gonna be awesome because he's a great actor. And it turned out, yes, he was awesome. And then he died, and that sucked.
Yeah. I mean, he's my third Joker out of all of them because of that reason. Because I mean, I never really liked the Joker. I thought he was some sort of a clown. I didn't really get the big deal until I saw him in this movie. I'm like,
yeah,
I love the Joker. Like, he's awesome.
Oh, the Joker is like such a psycho, and that had never been seen on that level in a movie before. I mean, you know, people my age, we grew up with Jack Nicholson Joker, and I don't love those movies. Like the Tim Burton Batman movies, not for me.
I like Returns.
I like Returns a little better than the first one.
I always go back and forth.
Yeah, but the first one, like, I don't know, it's kind of boring to me. And I get what he's going for, but it doesn't work for me.
Right.
Jack Nicholson, whatever, he's fine. If it had been Willem Dafoe, it would have been even better. Yeah. But Willem Dafoe wasn't a big star in 1989.
That's all that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then, like, I don't know, you've got like Cesar Romero back in the 60s, but that's a whole different thing. That's campy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Heath Ledger, he's the first Joker that we see on screen that's like, oh yeah, the Joker is really twisted. So
right. The thing I liked about his version of it was like he took elements from like the comics and like even you know, like the Jack Nicholson version or like Mark Hamill from the animated series where he, you know, he's kind of does whatever he wants.
Yeah.
You know, but he took it to a whole other level, which is cool. I mean, as much as I love this movie, still my favorite version of any of the Batmans, and that's counting like comics and, you know, movies and like video games, is the animated series from the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I used to watch it when I was a kid, but I haven't really watched it as an adult, you know?
Yeah, no, you should go back to it. Like, it's really good. I think you will really dig it as an adult.
Yeah.
Because like that's the thing is like, yeah, it's a kid show. It came on like Fox Kids, you know, like after school or like on the weekends or whatever.
Yeah, that's when I used to watch it. I remember every day coming home from school or whatever and putting on, because it was like a whole block. It was like Batman, and there was like Animaniacs, and
I love Animaniacs.
That kind of stuff. Yeah, like I would watch that stuff every day.
Right, yeah. But like, so it's a kid show, but they didn't downplay it for kids. Like they touched on some pretty deep topics. Like they talked about drugs. They talked about like existential crises. It was pretty crazy stuff that they were talking about in that show.
Have you seen the Harley Quinn show on HBO Max?
I still need to watch that. I have a little.
Oh my gosh. It's so funny. It's amazing.
I should watch it. Like, I have a little bit of a problem with Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy being like a lesbian couple.
I don't know why, but
I don't. I mean, I don't have a problem. I support the LGBT community. It's just, to me, they're more like big sister and little sister. It's a little weird to me.
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's not like the biggest part of that show.
Okay.
Like, that show is more focused on all the other stuff going on. Like there's a lot going on. And honestly, that show's version of Bane is the best version of Bane I've ever seen. Because he's got the voice and the mask and everything like this, but they just play it for comedy the whole time.
Right. I mean, plus and
they make him the kind of Yeah, well, they make Bane into kind of this like well-meaning oaf. And it's very funny to watch. So
Yeah, I guess
yeah.
it's watch it.
Anyway,
Like I said, I have a weird fixation on Harley Quinn. I don't know why.
no.
Yeah. Well, like all of Harley Quinn, but particularly the one from the animated series in the Jester outfit. Just something.
Sure.
There's something about that I find that really attractive. I don't know why. It's a weird kink I have.
Oh, fair enough. You know, everybody's got their thing, right?
But yeah, that's our top 5 Christopher Nolan movies.
Yeah,
I
we
can
did
spend
it.
all day talk about the freaking Dark Knight because it's amazing. But before we go, what genre do you want to see Nolan tackle next or in the future?
Well, I mean, we know what his next movie is. He's making a movie about the Manhattan Project.
Oh yeah, I remember hearing about that.
Where Cillian Murphy plays Robert Oppenheimer.
That has a
So
stacked cast.
that's going to be interesting. Like it's Nolan doing like another historical drama, but it's not an action thing. It's
Right.
about a bunch of guys in a lab. So I'm into watching that. Like I'm intrigued to see what he does next. If I could pick something for him to do other than that, I would like to see him. I don't know. I would like to see him do another space movie.
I want to see him do like horror. I think that'd be pretty interesting.
Yeah, that too. I'm always interested in seeing somebody do horror, but I don't know that he ever would. Because I was thinking about it today. You know, Insomnia came out in 2002, 20 years ago at this point, and he has not made an R-rated movie since then.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Right.
All his movies have been PG-13 since then. So I'd be interested in seeing him do a horror movie as long as he would like commit to the genre and deliver like a good R-rated horror movie.
Right.
But I'm not sure that he ever would.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think he only works. I think the closest he will go in is maybe something like David Fincher's Zodiac. Because David Fincher does something in that movie that Nolan does a lot, where he has a character talk, and then he has he has like scenes where it's like it shows people do other stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of combines the two things together.
Yeah, he does that in Insomnia a lot. That's a big part of that movie.
Yeah, he did that in Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I think that'd be pretty cool. Maybe something like more like Zodiac, more kind of like not like or like Evil Dead or like The Sixth Sense or something like that. I think he'd do something like more like Seven or Zodiac.
Yeah. Or have him do a Western. Everybody should have to do a Western at some point, or have him do a musical. Like I want to see what a Christopher Nolan musical is like. I'm down for that.
So apparently Spike Lee's doing a Viagra musical.
A what?
A Viagra musical.
Viagra?
Yeah.
Like the boner drug?
Yeah.
What on earth is happening?
Probably cooking a little bit too much,
Okay. Sure. I hope it's good.
I mean, I like Black Klansman. I thought that movie was like excellent.
Black Klansman is amazing. Like I thought it should have won Best Picture that year.
Yeah.
And then it went to stupid Green Book, whatever.
Green Book was good.
Yeah, but it's no Black Klansman.
Yeah, I think at the time I liked Green Book more because it's like more of a lighthearted movie. Like I don't think I can help because like Black Klansman is like really messed up.
Yeah, well, I mean, it reflects its subject matter well. It's a messed up subject matter. Yeah,
that's the thing about that movie is like I never thought I ever been so disturbed, but like laugh so hard in a movie because it's pretty funny,
right? Like it's a very funny movie. Like you can't take that away from it. Well, Spike Lee, he's always made comedies. Like that's part of his thing. Like he makes a lot of very serious movies too, but he's made a lot of comedies.
Right.
So
that's the only movie I've seen of his. That and I tried to watch The Five Bloods. I couldn't watch it because that's.
I haven't seen that one yet. No,
it's a ripoff of Apocalypse Now, basically.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Go watch
Vietnam
Do the
boat.
Right Thing. Like, go watch Do the Right Thing. Do the Right Thing is the quintessential Spike Lee joint, and it's
Okay.
great. It's a great like New York kind of movie.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
the part when he's talking with John Turturro about like his favorite like artist or like musician. He keeps
Mm-hmm.
naming like like black people or whatever, and then like that's supposed to be
Mm-hmm.
like a point. And I knew that scene.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's a great movie altogether. Like every scene in that movie is fantastic. It's well shot, it's colorful, it's lively,
Mhm.
it's got a great cast. Like it's a movie with everything. You know, it's
Right.
just one of those perfect movies. Yeah.
Yeah. So one more thing before we go.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the Batman? Since we're on the Batman topic with the Dark Knight.
I mean, I'm excited for it. It's it's every time there's a new Batman movie, everybody's like, "Oh God, is this gonna be? What's this gonna be? Is this gonna be good, or is this gonna be? Are we
There's
going
always a
to?"
controversial acting or casting choice and all that.
Well, I casting choices in this movie, I've got no gripe with any of them. Like as soon as they said Robert Pattinson, I was like, "Yes, okay, that works."
The only one
Because
I'm not liking John Turturro as Carmine Falcone.
oh, that's fine. I mean, how important is Carmine Falcone
Oh,
really?
if you read the Long Halloween, he's very important. Because Long
I,
Halloween's about a serial killer like taking out the mom, and like he's very important.
yeah.
I want to go on Harvey Keitel for Carmine.
Okay. Well, he's always been a great crime boss
Oh yeah,
actor.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I don't know. John Turturro can be. I feel like John Turturro can be intimidating when he needs to be. So, I mean, Batman Begins had like Tom Wilkinson playing that character. That's a
Yeah,
weird choice, but
he
it
was
worked.
good for that world. I think it was Harvey Keitel. Like you see him in like Pulp Fiction or like National Treasure, and he
Yeah.
like goes into a room and he his command of presence. He's like,
Okay.
you do this and this needs to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like one of those kind of guys.
But yes, I'm super excited to see the Batman. Like, yeah,
One more week.
I know, right?
Yep, I already bought my tickets.
I haven't got my tickets yet, but I do the like Regal Unlimited thing.
Oh yeah, I have a cinema,
So,
so I did a
yeah.
movie club.
I got you. Okay.
Yep. So one more thing, real quick, and then we'll go. How much?
Okay.
How much do you think it's gonna make opening weekend? Now,
Oh,
keep in mind that people are still hesitant with Patterson. We're under a pandemic still. It's not like
yeah, but also I'm
movie.
just not good at projecting that sort of thing. Like I don't know what was the last big opening weekend a movie had. I don't even know.
I think for Spider-Man.
Okay, I don't know how much that made though, because I
Yeah.
don't keep up with that kind of stuff.
I think
I'm gonna say it makes less than Spider-Man, but more than Tenet. Let's say that.
yeah. I think it's gonna make because some people are saying it's gonna be like 50 to 85.
Sure,
Yeah,
that sounds reasonable.
I'm thinking he's gonna make 100.
Okay.
You gotta think about people like me. They're huge Batman fans. And I'm already planning
Yeah.
to go see it like at least 2 or 3 more times, or one or
Yeah.
two more times.
Uh huh.
Opening weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I think it's
I just want it to be good. That's all I want. I just want it, and I've heard it's like what 2 hours and 40 minutes or something like
I
that.
think it's like close to 3 hours. I think it's like right at 3
It's
hours.
yeah, it's like crazy. It's like Dark Knight Rises long.
Mhm.
And okay, all right, I'm down. I'll go watch it. Just make.
You froze up again.
Oh, you froze for a second.
Yeah, what'd you
Now
say?
you're back. Oh, I just said I just want it to be good. That's all I care about.
Yeah,
So
that's the thing with these last couple of years with the whole pandemic. that's probably like one of the few things that's actually giving me like joy, enjoyment, and excitement is like the release of this movie, and like we're a week away.
I know.
And I work at Staples, and we have on display, like in the front of the store, we have like this mini like dry erase boards, and I've been doing countdown since like November. And when I first started doing that, we're at over 100 days. Now we're at like 6 days, 6, 7 more days.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like next week, when you're watching it, I'm gonna go see The Batman. And then to remind you guys that the day before that, March 3rd, is our big epic Batman video that me and Eric did.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we have a Batman quiz where we talk about our favorite Batman. it's a lot of fun.
All right.
Yeah, but thanks, man, for doing this video with me. That was long.
Yeah, sure. Let me know when you want to do it again.
Yeah, for sure. I need to get Nathan and Reed on here.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that'd be kind of cool. I know they can be kind of busy with their personal life, and then like yeah, but yeah, if you never check them out for your God. They're Christian horror podcasts. You don't have to be a Christian to enjoy it.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I'm not particularly a Bible believing Christian myself, but I really love the show. I think it's really good. And check out Jackson Harper. He's a really cool guy. He's really funny. He puts out a lot of funny Facebook posts. And he's a really good musician too.
Thank you.
Yeah, I loved your cover of While My Guitar Gently Weeps. You had like the perfect singing voice for that.
Oh wow, you saw that.
Yeah,
I'd forgotten about that.
That's like my second favorite version of that song. That and like the French version.
Oh my God. Okay.
Like you're like right up there with Prince with like covers. So I've seen a lot because like he's my favorite artist of all time. I went to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They actually had his guitar there, like his Purple Rain guitar. And his outfit.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, but anyways, guys, this has been Drew from Horror, Sci-Fi, and Beyond. Over and out. Bye.
Bye.